Yeah, this train station is located in the middle of nowhere. It's no different than the high-speed train stations China built in Laos. The one in Vientiane is way outside of the city, as well as the one in Fangfeng. We are at the Galore high-speed rail train station, somewhere in the rice fields southeast of the city of Bandung. I arrived here a short while ago on the train in first class, and I'll be taking the train back to Jakarta in business class right now. The Galore train station is located, well, yeah, not in the city, right? These are the rice fields of Western Java. I guess that's done to keep it cheap, but ballooning costs here have raised concern in Indonesia because the debt is ever increasing and the train isn't running any profits. Huge sign on this sign says Tegaluar Somarekon, which is a sponsoring name, and it's aimed at, well, rice fields. Around the time of shooting this video, November 2025, the massive and ever-growing debt of this little section of prestige project high-speed rail was a hot topic once again. Total debts for the entire project are currently at over $7.2 billion. This is mainly caused by cost overruns during construction. Even the pandemic played a small part in this. As the contract with the Chinese seems pretty much non-renegotiable, Indonesia had to come up with creative solutions to make sure that they are kept happy, while not attracting too much attention to this apparent waste of money. The solution was that the debt was restructured, at least that's what the politicians call it. It's now under direct management of Indonesia's relatively young sovereign wealth fund, and thus it's basically paid for from state coffers. Indonesia has been paying around $100 million in interest every year since 2023, and now it will take 60 years to be paid off, if everything goes to plan. Well, this is the final destination of the high-speed line. You can see the tracks running further towards the east, but that's only because there is a parking area for those trains somewhere in the distance there. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, as ballooning debt has caused quite a stir in recent weeks and months, and any extension of this line is out of the question for the time being. Although an actual extension towards Surabaya could make it profitable. This is way more Spartan than the one in Jakarta. By the looks of it, construction started in Jakarta and this was the last station to be built, but the money already ran out. Fact is that this was by design, and stations in Jakarta and near Bandung were constructed at the same time. Our train is leaving at 12:05. It's the first one on the board here, and we will be able to board in about 12 minutes.
28, depart from the 1.
And here we are, back to Jakarta in business class. It's one of the moments where it becomes painfully clear that Indonesians, in general, are quite a lazy kind of people. I'm the only one taking the stairs going down even. It's faster than taking the escalator as well. But even then, it proves very hard to get Indonesians to actually make some steps. Once again, my carriage is at the front, so I have to walk a bit. The seats here have different upholstery, but still are 2x2. And there are more people than last trip I made, but they are boarding right behind me. And of course, there's economy class. First class and business class are still pretty empty, but that's because most people will get on at the next station, which is in about 8 minutes time at Padalarang. So you're wondering why we are always facing forward. It's because all these seats are flipped at the final destination. That's some extra service that most people most likely highly appreciate. From behind the sound barrier that covers most of the route to the station of Padalarang, we can see glimpses of the suburbs surrounding the city of Bandung. And this is Padalarang station, where we will pick up most of the passengers, as Tegaluar is quite hard to reach with public transport. Pretty busy. But most likely the train won't be full. Padalarang is much easier to reach. There are feeder trains between here and the main station in Bandung, for example. That's a 20-minute ride. Other forms of public transport are also much more accessible and abundant here. If you need to connect, you should do this from or to Padalarang, not Tegaluar. Passengers in first and business class receive little goodie bags that don't contain too much. A bottle of water and a sweet bun. They do swing in harmony though. The toilet is clean and smells good. No window though, which is kind of a shame. And that was it. The 40-something minute ride back to Jakarta is already pulling into the station. With over 30 return trips a day, you can take a train between Jakarta and somewhere outside of Bandung every 30 minutes or so, from early in the morning until well in the evening. That's very convenient, but arriving at Padalarang, let alone Tegaluar, is not, obviously. Let's check this escalator, where they're even queuing to use it. The stairs next to it are almost completely empty. I guess they all have problems walking a few steps, or it's just plain laziness. You tell me.